그분과의 미팅을 앞두고 있습니다.
My name is John Cordova, and I'm the product manager for the Specialized Roubaix.
혹시 루베를 개발할 때 무슨 생각하면서 만드셨는지 좀.
So we knew we had a really good base with the previous generation Roubaix. It won Paris Roubaix at the moment of introduction, and pro riders really liked the bike. Same thing as everyday riders were really stoked about the bike. So we started seeing a trend of riders putting bigger tires on their bikes, on the road bikes, because they were exploring unknown roads and wanted to have the confidence of the bigger tires. How it would make the bike better on that ride. Everything's paved over there. So we started thinking, okay, a bigger tire that rolls really fast would be really good. Improve the aerodynamics a little bit, and then improve the future shock that we had a good base on.
혹시 소프트웨어 개발도 지금 같이 하신 거예요?
I'm not that old.
Sorry.
It's okay. First Roubaix was introduced in 2004. The first time I got involved with the Roubaix was in the 2017 Roubaix.
루베 SLA는 어떤 라이더를 타겟으로 한번 만들어진 거예요? 제가 경험했을 때는 되게 오래된 라이더들, 그러니까 자전거를 많이 타본 사람들이 결국은 이 루베가 좋지 않을까? 이렇게 생각하는 그런 사람들, 그 사람들을 타겟으로 만든 것 같은 느낌이었거든요.
Yeah, so we actually the Roubaix is the original thought is for every rider, essentially. We believe that this bike is good for riders who are just starting out in their journey of cycling, to those who are very high level cyclists. And we have models throughout the whole price range for that kind of purpose, to suit every rider's need in there. But we really see this bike as the best bike for most riders. You know, we have the bikes like the Tarmac as a phenomenal bike, as a pure race bike. But a lot of riders are not racing, and they're better off on something like the Roubaix, that it's going to suit their needs better. It's going to have comfort for the long distance. It's going to provide some aerodynamics, and it's also lightweight.
혹시 루베가 퓨처샥이 특징이잖아요. 예, 그 오프로드에서는 당연히 루베가 사막보다 더 빠를 것 같은데, 일반 평탄한 도로 기준에서 퓨처샥을 조절하는 단계별로 속도 차이가 혹시 있는지.
No, this is something actually that we learned when we first developed the Future Shock. There's actually no withdrawal for having a Future Shock. There's nothing that takes away from you for having a Future Shock. We did a study with the Cologne University, where we see that if you're sprinting, you're equaling out the Future Shock from going up and down. Yeah, you can actually even try this at home, and it's the reason why we put the Future Shock where we put it above the head tube. So if you ride a traditional suspension fork like you find on a mountain bike, and you take off your hands and you pedal, you're going to see the bike doing this. But if you ride on a Roubaix and you pedal without your hands on the bars, the bike is going to stay steady. It's not going to move at all. So the power coming from your legs doesn't affect the movement below.
그러면은 사막이랑 거의 비슷하다고 봐도 되네요. 그러니까 단지 달라진 게 무게 차이 정도밖에 아닌 걸로 받아들여도 될 수 있겠네요.
Yeah, there's no power loss on a tarmac or a Roubaix when sprinting. Yeah, same. Correct. Yeah. So weight and aerodynamics are different. So your speed will be different on the two bikes given the same power output. But you should also consider the benefit that Roubaix has with the Future Shock over a bike without the Future Shock. So that benefit being smoother on a rough road and giving the rider also more confidence to carry the speed. For example, on a downhill, you're going to have more traction because you have a Future Shock than if you don't have a Future Shock. So similar to like a Formula One car, if you took the shocks out, you wouldn't be able to stay on track because it doesn't articulate, right? Same thing on a Roubaix. You have the Future Shock and it takes up a lot of the bumps, so you're able to keep the tire on the ground at all times.
맞습니다. 제가 얼마 전에 경험했습니다. 퓨처샥이 이렇게 계속해서 일을 해주면서 그러니까 접지가 늘어나는 거, 울퉁불퉁한 도로에서도.
That's great.
루베가 퓨처샥을 제외한다면 그 타막 SL7하고 외형은 좀 비슷한 것 같거든요. 그 에어롤 효과라든가 이런 거는 SL7에서 가져온 건지 아니면 SL8에서 가져온 건지.
It's really derived an evolution from the previous generation Roubaix. It looks very similar to the new Roubaix with some aesthetic features that we changed. That came originally from Tarmac SL6. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of the springboard to adding, the previous generation Roubaix was the springboard to adding aerodynamics into the bike. Mm-hmm. And at that time, we were comparing it to Tarmac SL6. It's also part of the Specialized identity, right? You see that with car families, right? You see Mercedes E-Class and a C-Class, they look very similar, right? And it's just part of that family aesthetics. So very similar. We want our Specialized road bikes to all look very similar. So somebody sees it, oh, that's a Specialized.
제가 루베 SL8을 타보니까 진짜 퓨처샥이 정말 편안했고 되게 인상적이었는데 이거를 혹시 그래블 바이크로 활용을 해서 그래블 코스를 이렇게 타도 되는지, 그래블 코스를 장시간 라이딩 했을 때 내구성에 대해서 문제는 없는지.
So that's a great question. You know, one of the biggest objectives of the Future Shock 3.0 is durability and serviceability. So we pay a lot of attention to that. So we added a lot of more sealant elements to the top of the seal, so water and dirt can't get in. And we found out also that we needed to seal the underneath part of the Future Shock. When riders ride in the rain and they hang their bike, water goes down the fork into the Future Shock. So all those extra sealing elements now make the Future Shock more durable. So much more that we feel confident on speccing the Future Shock on Diverge and Creo, which is our e-gravel bike. We have a lot of confidence in the durability there.
같은 거기 때문에 그래블 환경에서도 탈 수 있다는 말인가요?
That's a great question. Yeah. You know, we add a lot of features to the Roubaix, and if you have good imagination like you do, you can probably imagine riding the Roubaix in different terrains. You know, something else to make sure you're aware of is the Roubaix is designed as a endurance road bike, which means the geometry may not be the best for gravel, depending on how unstable the terrain is. For instance, a bike like Diverge is designed to be very stable and composed, meaning if you're going high speed, you're going to feel very confident because the bike is lower to the ground and longer. With a bike like the Roubaix, it doesn't have the same geometry for gravel. It's more for road. So it may feel unstable at high speeds on gravel.
그러니까 뭐 마일드한 그래블 코스는 충분히 가능하지만 어쨌든 다이버지가 있으니까 다이버지로 그래블을 타라. 요 정도로 이해하면 될 것 같네요.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
루베는 계속 달리면서 퓨처샥은 미세하게 계속 움직이는 것 같은데 그렇게 되면 퓨처샥의 내구성이 어느 정도인지 한 몇 킬로를 달리면은 퓨처샥을 교체해야 된다 뭐 이런 거가 있는지.
Just keep riding it. So the only reason it would need to be fixed or serviced is if like there's a cut on the boot. So the boot is very important to maintain. That keeps the water and the mud away from the inside of the Future Shock. So as long as there's no water going in, nothing's gonna rust. So you just want to make sure that that stays intact, but just ride it.
그러면 나중에 만약에 퓨처샥이 망가지면 퓨처샥만 따로 떼서 교체를 하는 방식이에요.
Yeah, the rider can replace the Future Shock. We also made the Future Shock completely serviceable. So a rider could take it to the retailer, and the retailer can order some of the spare parts and freshen up the Future Shock, similar to you do with the shock.
루베가 라이더들에게 어떤 말할 수 있는 메시지가 있다면 어떤 메시지를 주고 있다고 생각하나요?
Ride me, I'm smooth.
깔끔하고 명료한 대답이었네요.
Yeah.
루베를 그러면 개발하고서 시승을 굉장히 많이 해보셨을 텐데 가장 기억에 남는 라이드가 있었나요?
So like, yeah, so I've been riding, that's a really hard question. Yeah. I've been riding Roubaix SL8 now 2 years. I guess maybe I got the privilege of riding the cobbles in France on the Roubaix SL8 with Casper Asgreen and with Yves Lampaert. So that was a cool ride to ride the cobbles with those guys.
저도 그러고 싶네요.
Come over. I'm going there next week. Yeah, I mean, we're very close in particular with Soudal Quickstep, and we gather a lot of feedback from them. But I also got feedback from riders like Ultrajack, who loves the Roubaix and does crazy long rides. So he rode the bike like a year and a half before we launched it. Yeah, so we definitely use some of our pro riders to help us develop the bikes.
루베를 타고 이 코스를 타면은 최적인 것 같다. 여기 꼭 가보고 싶다. 이런 코스가 있나요?
Korea?
Come on!
In all seriousness, yeah, I think I enjoy going to Asia a lot. I love Asian food and exploring the culture in Asia. So going to Korea and riding over there would be really cool. It would be awesome. I'm being serious.
저도 꼭 만났으면 좋겠습니다.
Yeah, yeah.
루베가 또 발전이 될 텐데 향후 버전에서는 어떤 발전, 어떤 변화가 있을 거를 조금 힌트를 줄 수 있나요?
Well, it's gonna have 2 wheels.
엄청난 정보를 주셨네요.
That would be too easy. I'd rather hear what Taeyoon would like to see in the next Roubaix. Like, what are some of the features that he wants us to work on? What would he like us to improve on?
일단 바퀴는 2개였으면 좋겠고요.
2 wheels, perfect. Okay, we can do that. No problem.
이거 다음 질문이었는데 바로 연결하면 될 것 같아요. 그런데
네네.
루베는 지금도 케이블이 나와 있는 형태를 하고 있잖아요. 근데 그게 퓨처샵 때문에 어쩔 수 없는 구조적인 그런 것도 있어서 이해는 하지만 사실 케이블을 안으로 넣어서 만들려면 만들 수는 있었을 것 같거든요. 그럼에도 불구하고 이번에 선을 밖으로 나오게 해서 출시를 했는데 버전은 아마 그 선이 안으로 들어가는 게 아닌가.
Yeah, I mean, you said it right there. It's a challenge to have the cables internally routed with the Future Shock because the Future Shock's moving and the cable excess needs to go somewhere. So that's actually something that we've been looking at for SL8. We looked into it and we just couldn't do it. It doesn't mean that we're stopping. We just, at this point, we don't know how to do it in a good way. That's a great idea. Well, I actually would like to know what are Taeyoon's favorite parts of the bike. What does he like about the Roubaix so much?
당연히 이 프론트 퓨처샥이 굉장히 마음에 들고 이 퓨처샥을 이렇게 조절을 할 수 있는 특히 더 이렇게 굉장히 매력적이더라고요. 그러니까 간단하게 잡았을 때는 그냥 사실 눈으로 보기에도 들어가는 거나 이런 움직임이 없게 느껴지는데 그럼에도 불구하고 승차감은 굉장히 많이 개선이 돼 있는 것 같아서 진짜 라이딩이 너무 편안하고 굉장히 편하게 정말 좋더라고요.
It's a very controlled movement. Which model Roubaix does he have? Oh, nice.
혹시 또 그리고 추가로 궁금한 게 저는 지금 루베의 안에 퓨처샥의 스프링을 중간 단계 스프링에서 되게 단단한 걸로 교체를 했거든요. 조는 어떤 스프링의 단계가 가장 최적이라고 생각하는지.
So I have the mid-level. I like the Future Shock to move, and I actually never lock out my Future Shock.
그러면 저도 그렇게 하겠다고 알려주세요.
네.
너무 답변을 잘해주셔서 감사하다고.
Thank you. Like this is a privilege. This has been really fun. Hopefully we can ride soon.
제 스트라바 계정 공유해드릴 테니까 같이 추가하시면 될 것 같아요.
제 실력이 탄로날 것 같아서.
Taeyoon, thank you. Have a good day. Enjoy the weekend.
Thank you. Bye bye.
See you. Bye.
Good evening.
아,
Bye.